It looks like I'm not going to wait any further for anybody else to join. I'll just jump through.
Okay.
This is supposed to be a session, effectively, where I am meeting and greeting people that we're giving these accounts to, just so that we kind of keep a rein on exactly who all has the accounts, and also have a sense of what it is you want to get out of it, so that we can tailor the future workshops a bit around those things.
Yeah, great. That makes sense.
So, okay, well, okay, sponsored Esri. Obviously, they donated a big license to Code for America to do this kind of thing, so thanks to them. The Code of Conduct. Felicia, you're probably familiar with the CFA Code of Conduct.
Yes.
We have a Code of Conduct. We abide by the Code for America Code of Conduct, and so if anything feels uncomfortable, please let us know. If you stay past this slide in virtual terms, or if it was a physical thing, it all applies, then you abide by the Code of Conduct. If you need to report activity, you can report it to me. If you think you need to report me, then the link at the bottom of the screen is where you would go to find out more about how to do that. So that's the Code of Conduct. The quick agenda, introduction to who's going to be doing the speaking and stuff in the series, and then just getting into testing, making sure ArcGIS Online logins are working. So I'm Nick, and co-captain at Code for BTV. I do GIS stuff with Stone Environmental in Montpelier, Vermont for my day job. And we are an Esri partner, so I happen to know a lot about this stuff. David Healy was my mentor. He's my continuing friend, and he's retired, which means that he just does work on other stuff from, no longer works at Stone, but he helped get Vermont's GIS, statewide GIS system going in the 80s. And then later on in the series, Kendall Fortney will be joining us, and he's he's done work with the Vermont GIS system, VCGI. He's been a fellow for them, but he's got a lot more knowledge about non-ArcGIS things, and so finding out where the limits of the licensing that we have with Esri are, and how to move beyond those for particular tasks, and maybe heavier data science or analysis. So those will be later workshops. If you don't know much about ArcGIS today, here is a quick picture of the documentation page, not the developer documentation page, just like the different products in their documentation. There's a lot of things here. What Esri gave to us was a premium hub license, which allows lots of different things. It includes all of this other ArcGIS Online related stuff, at least, if not more. And so this series that we're going to be going into is going to be exploring what these different tools can do. We're not going to be looking at stuff like ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Enterprise, ArcMap, desktop stuff, because this license doesn't include that. So none of you would have access to it through this license, but you can do that on your own if you want to. ArcGIS includes all these apps here now, and I know the interface, Felicia, is quite different than it was 10 years ago. The main things that
definitely.
we're going to be looking at are ArcGIS Online is kind of a general tool for making the maps and sharing them. Dashboards for, well, creating dashboards. The hub, which is for social, civic engagement. Living Atlas is a massive data store, and then there's like solutions. So let's look at that. And then there's creating data and configurable apps, templated apps, these kinds of things. ArcGIS Solutions in particular seems like it'll be really valuable to the brigades who are working for civic improvement in their own locales. So each of these items on the solutions page is like a templated app, which means you start it up, you launch it, and you fill in some information about it for your own locale and your own data sets, and you get a coronavirus business continuity app, or a transit safety app, or a dam safety app. So we think that that'll be pretty powerful for brigades to start offering those knowledge about how to configure those things to their own communities. This all came from being ArcGIS Hub or ArcGIS Hub license. So what is Hub? Just to be clear, it's a particular tool developed by Esri to drive citizen engagement in community response around initiatives in the community, like whatever you want to consider an initiative in the community, such as bike safety or COVID-19 response in various forms, tourism. They took what they had seen from their own experience and gone and explored how Code for America was doing civic engagement and tried to build a tool that they thought might actually be useful from a Code for America standpoint. It wasn't made for Code for America, but it was informed by Code for America. So,
wow.
What?
Wow, like this is actually kind of tailored for us. That's amazing.
It was, yeah, exactly.
I mean, not exactly tailored, but yeah.
They a number of the members that were on the research and development team behind Hub were involved with Code for America in different forms, and we have the license now because Patrick Hammonds, who is working for Esri on the Hub team, was a Code for America fellow, which I think is on like the next slide probably. Yeah, okay, well, so the big picture is there are a lot of templates, configurable apps, tools that we think, Brigade members with no coding skills can help deploy, which is often helpful for brigades because we get a lot of people that are interested in civic improvement, but then they feel like they can't do things because they don't have programming skills, and it's called code for this or code for that. In many cases, I know Open Oakland is moved beyond the code for, but a lot of places it's still a stigma. So we think that it's useful from that perspective. And then on the other hand, a lot of local governments, maybe not every local government, but a whole lot of them, especially ones close to where brigades are typically formed, already have ArcGIS licensing. So this isn't like a sales pitch by Esri to go get your town to buy ArcGIS, because so many towns, or maybe the county at the higher level, they've got ArcGIS already. Like, it's just available. I know that I live in a town, pretty small, around 3,000 people, 2,800. We have 2 ArcGIS desktop licenses used for zoning and parcel stuff. That's all they do with it, but it includes, with that license, ArcGIS Online. It's just not used because they don't have any capacity. So we think the brigades could help the communities make better use of the software they've already got. We think also, because it's a commercial software product that they've already invested in, that in cases where smaller brigades, newer brigades are trying to approach the town and say, hey, we want to help, sometimes towns are a little standoffish, like, well, we don't want to engage with volunteers. We don't have the capacity to manage volunteer efforts. And then what if you build something and we have to support it after? In this case, there's already commercial support built into the whole thing if they wanted to or needed to go that route. So that's helpful. Esri, of course, what do they get? I mean, they get more community and input and feedback. So there's something for them in all of this, but it doesn't, it's not a real big marketing push. So yeah, and thanks to Patrick Hammonds for securing the license that we got. So we're gonna do this thing. We're getting you all logged in and get, very high level orientation. Next thing is next tomorrow, GIS All the Things is more about how to actually do stuff with ArcGIS Online, the basics. There's gonna be probably a number of these GIS All the Things sessions, because for 1 hour, there's just not enough time to cover all the different stuff that you're gonna wanna do, even at a basic level. And then the deeper dives will be on some of the specifics, like how to configure dashboards, how to use some of the very specific state and local government solutions, how to use Hub for driving citizen engagement. And beyond that, we'll get into the excursions beyond ArcGIS and what you might need to do with different open source software. And if there's interest, we can do like a quarterly, monthly, even check-ins. We'll see. So I think that I should have updated this slide. You got an email, hopefully both Felicia and Jeremy got an email with your account information. Hopefully you can log in by just going to arcgis.com, or maybe your email had a link in it already to log you in. So hopefully you're logged in, and I'm curious to see or hear how that is working for you.
Okay, I had to repaste the the URL back in there, but looks like it's working now.
All right.
Okay, I'm generating a password. Just going to use my password manager for that. So just a second.
So as a little bit of background, I offered a ArcGIS, what was it, connecting Burlington's open data to ArcGIS Online event for Open Data Day in beginning of March before the pandemic shut everything down. And we spent about half the time getting people logged in to new accounts. So that's why we're doing this, so that tomorrow when there's like a 1 hour session, we don't spend time getting people into accounts.
Okay, I'm in.
Sweet. Thomas, are you logged into your account okay?
Yep.
Sweet.
I seem to be logged in. It's asking me for a bio, which...
You know, well, not necessary, I don't think.
Okay.
You should see something like the top of the screen, roughly. I mean, it sort of depends on how wide your screen is, but usually you see something with your name in the corner there. Where's my annotation thing?
Yeah, in the upper right.
Spotlight. Is this thing? Yeah. Oh man, what did I do? Okay. So anyway,
Yes.
You've got your username, you've got organization, content, groups, notebook, scene, map, gallery, home across the top, roughly. And hopefully you can click on the content option, content tab, which expands to show these options: my content, my favorites, my groups, my organization. We're not going to get into what any of this means. All we're doing is a simple test to make sure that you've got things set up correctly. So you should be able to see a create button. It's got the little plus. And on that, if you click it, there's an option to create a feature layer.
Okay.
So we want to do that. It will bring up a wizardy thing that looks a bit like this.
Yeah.
You'll see that there's a whole lot of different like feature layer templates.
Yeah.
Nice. I suggest for simplicity, we skip down to this general subgroup and choose points. Like the most basic thing for tracking geospatial data we could use is just a points layer. And then once you click on it, this thing pops up where you can say create. So you do that, kind of just keep hitting next. You'll have to fill in, I think, a title for the create feature layer screen 6. Then get to the done button and should end up at a screen like we see on the bottom here.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm seeing those screens sequentially, but yes, right.
Right. Yes, not all at once. Right.
Yeah, I just realized it's not all at once. Okay. Yes. Seeing that stuff.
Jeremy, is this working out for you?
Yep, good to go.
Good.
Having fun hopping between the different views, but so far so good.
Yeah. So if you've gotten to success, you've gotten to this final screen where it says, you know, whatever you named your data, open a map viewer, open scene viewer, publish, all these things, then you've successfully created a data set and you're effectively done. Like that's good. That's what you need to be able to move forward with building something in ArcGIS Online. Is you create a data set, then you start mapping it, you save your maps, you display them in different ways. So that's it.
Okay.
Yay. That's it.
That was the most low stress workshop I've ever been to. Thank you.
We're breaking it up into very small pieces. You are more than welcome to self-educate, you know, between now and tomorrow and play with it all you want to. There's no like, now you must do this thing. You have the account, you know how to log in, and it seems to be working correctly.
Yep.
So tomorrow at 3, David will start going into what to actually do if you really need to get some better orientation on creating the maps, on how they are used within the web platform, and keep an eye on our meetup, or we'll continue to share in our Slacks and stuff to make sure you know when the next sessions are coming out. I suspect that if you miss tomorrow's thing with David, this very first orientation, we'll probably end up doing it again.
Okay, great.
Because we're trying to serve something out to brigades across the country, and obviously different time zones, different schedules. It's not going to be good for everybody. We want it to be as interactive as possible. So I'm going to record it, but obviously being able to ask questions and interact is going to be more valuable. So we'll see how it goes. Follow the Slack, follow the meetup, and that'll be it.